Sweat moves you forward. Degree Antiperspirant is here to make sure it never holds you back. Clocking in, sweat. Lunch meeting, sweat. Biking home, sweat. Degree Advanced is for the hustlers who put in the sweat. The world's #1 antiperspirant with up to 72-hour sweat and odor protection. Degree, here for sweat. Try it today.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. That's why you need Shopify. They'll help you create a convenient, unified command center for whatever your business throws at you, whether you sell online, in-store, or both. You can sell the way you want, attract the customers you need, and keep them coming back. Turn those what-ifs into why-nots with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer. That's shopify.com/special offer.
This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
And now joining me here for a really happy, energetic chunk of broadcasting brilliance here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on 77 WABC, of course, is normally by phone, but now in person here in studio, my buddy Ellen Karis.
I can't believe it.
Right?
I mean, we made this happen in the best of ways.
Yes.
Because we already had an evening.
We did. We actually looked fabulous.
We looked so good too.
I know.
I mean, did you see how people were looking at us when we were walking up Third Avenue?
Were right. And they were right. And they were right. We were just at the WABC gala celebrating a bunch of stuff, including mainly the 250th birthday of the United States, kicking off the 250 year, and benefiting Tunnel to Towers and Shriners Children.
Yeah.
And also the New York Police Athletic League.
Yep.
And it was a fabulous, right?
I have to tell you something. Yeah. I don't know how much you go out. We don't have fun in our house anymore.
No.
Okay. No, we're all fun. Okay.
The era of fun.
We're anti-travel. We're anti-fun. We're just all about complaining.
Right.
Well, at least one of us.
Right.
The one that's not here.
Right.
And, so any opportunity I can get to get dressed up and be amongst the people, I take. So it was really spectacular and huge. I'm not just saying this. Huge kudos to John and Margot Catsimatidis and Chad Lopez and I think Emily Pankow.
Yep.
Pankow. They gave her a shout out.
Yeah.
Though putting 600 people at Cipriani's on 42nd Street is a monumental task.
Yep.
And I believe they did it in a few weeks, which is amazing. And it was all for great charity. Yeah. So when I bought my ticket, you can choose, and I chose the police support. You know, so it was like police, farm. I mean, it was just great. It was great. The music was great. The food was great.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a dessert person.
I saw at the end of the evening. I now know you're a dessert person. You've always been a sweetie.
I've always been, right. So you didn't, but if you didn't remember, but you saw me just
devour.
It was like I'm going to the chair.
You're little. And this dessert, they have it at Cipriani. It's like a coconut meringue cake. It's their signature dish, dessert. And it sounds like a punchline, but in this case, it's true. It was just about the size of your head.
Yes.
And
yes.
You could have hidden behind it.
Yeah, it was huge. And it's funny. I do love coconut, but I'm really a chocolate person.
Yes. I know about you.
That's my deal.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
But that was delicious.
Yes.
It was all great. The people were great. The wine was flowing. It was decorated.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
And for people out there who are like viewers and listeners of conservative media, right? This was like those names and faces and voices. Clearly all the WABC talent, right? All the personalities here. Sid was there. Kelly was there. Just everybody, you know.
Anthony Cumia.
Lionel. Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to leave people out, and I'm going to not sleep all weekend. Rita Cosby was there.
Larry
Kudlow was there.
Craig Eaton, because I actually sat with him.
Right.
He's on John's show.
Right.
Peter King.
Right. The congressman was there. And my buddy Dominic Carter. And, there were so many. And Lionel. So, and many, many more. And a cast of thousands.
It was the who's who.
And in terms of the voice, like Frank Siller from Tunnel to Towers, right? Everybody sees those commercials 7 times an hour, right? Because that's the kind of people that watch this kind of media. And the music provided by
Vinny Medugno
from WABC.
His voice
blew me away.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, Cousin Brucey was the MC, and he was great. He's amazing.
Right.
But Vinny really blew me away. Yeah, he was great. It was great.
Oh my God. Like incredible. And then Proud to Be an American. Then we had,
Lee Greenwood.
For crying out loud.
So I have to tell you, I was very excited. I knew Lee Greenwood was going to be there because I always wanted to meet him because I always wanted to tell him something, which I got to tell him tonight.
Did you? Oh, tell.
I got to tell him, went over, hi, I'm Ellen Karis, I'm a comedian, and we love your song, Proud to Be American, my husband and I, that we used your song as our wedding march.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yes. And
nice.
so he said, he was,
he was,
oh my, he goes, thank you so much for telling me that. He goes, that's really kind. I said, we love your song. It meant a lot to us.
So that just happened tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice when you get that chance. And how often do you get that chance, right?
No, I've never, I don't know. Where was I going to meet him?
Right.
You know, unless I went to a concert. So I was really, really psyched that he was going to be there.
So, you know who else was? Oh, and Curtis was there.
Oh, Curtis.
And again, the names and go on and on and on. And,
also, Eric Adams.
That's where I'm going. So,
and I did
I was
not
dying to
see
get your opinion.
Yeah, I didn't see them. I mean, it could have happened.
They were introduced at the same time.
They were introduced, but they were on opposite sides. So I'm assuming that they, didn't shake hands or anything. Right, I would, I bet, $1 on that one.
Right.
And the cheering for Curtis, the applause were louder than for Eric. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore, but I was a little surprised that he came, obviously knowing that this is really Curtis' country, WABC,
Mr.
right?
Katz is a kingmaker, though. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, where John and Margot are.
Right. Well, I know they're friends with everybody. They try to stay neutral. Yeah. I don't know how they do that, but they do that. Yep. So he came, but I honestly, I did not see him, and I don't know how long he came for. Obviously he's not going to stay the whole evening, but he didn't really make a big hoopla.
No, and I tell you what though, and by the way, it's me, TJ, we're here on another side of midnight with a great, nice departure from how we normally do this, because Ellen and I were both at the WABC gala this evening, and so I said, hey Ellen, come on in, and let's do this in person. So Ellen Karis, you can find her all over social media on Greek Chick Comic. Go find her at Greek Chick Comic all over social media, and EllenKaris.com is 1 R.
Yes.
And she's a very, very funny woman. She's great. She's smart. You see her on TV doing political commentary, and always with energy, always funny. And so yeah, I was going to get to the whole mayor thing. So I thought it was interesting. I thought the applause for Curtis, I thought it was a bit more rowdy too, because how often do you get to cheer for your guy when the other guy is there?
Right.
So all those Curtis supporters were in the room and they got to do it in front of Eric.
Right.
And I think that kind of charged it up a little bit.
And it was an interesting day for Eric because he made an announcement. I was listening to Katz and Cosby at 5, and they were teeing up the announcement. Yeah. And it sounded like Eric was going to drop out. Mm-hmm. But instead, he doubled down. Right. And he was like, I'm not going anywhere. Right. I'm wearing the shirt. You see what this shirt says? It says Mayor of New York City. I'm going to continue to wear that. I'm going to finish the job. On and on. It's like, all right, somebody took their happy pills, because I don't know how you're convincing yourself, considering you're in last place.
You're in last place.
And you're not even running on the ticket that you originally bragged that you were a part of, the Biden of Brooklyn.
He's running as an independent.
But he took himself off because he knew that he couldn't run against Mandami. Mm-hmm. So it's, I have to tell you. Yeah. I try to, I certainly live in faith and I try to be positive, but I've got major anxiety about this mayoral race. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Good. I really do, because
you just see the math. You're a numbers person. It's almost insurmountable unless somebody gets out. But now it's getting to the point where you almost feel like even if somebody got out.
Right. Because they keep saying if Eric dropped out, even if Curtis got all of Eric's points, he's still behind. Right. Cuomo would have to drop out, and then Curtis would have to get all of his points, and then he could win, and then some.
And all of that is such a hypothetical. It's all.
So, but here's the question, though. Yes. Okay, because we know that polls have been wrong. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I say, because I feel like there's this like mastermind. I realize the polls are supposed to be independent, but they're not. No. And I just feel like they're spoon feeding between the media, not this radio station, but the other media. Sure. They're spoon feeding the public to think that Mandami has already won, so that people won't go out to vote. Right. Or
trying to suppress that vote.
Right.
Yes.
And I don't know. There's just something in my bones where I feel there's a manipulation. Yeah. And the polls, like, how could this guy that's never had a job, that stands for awful things, okay, anti-capitalism, he can try to backpedal all he wants. We have it on record. We know what he stands for. The whole freezing of the rent thing, and he does say this. He hasn't backpedaled on, free subways, free buses. I can't. You can't even rationalize. It's like rationalizing
all
with
the proof you need is that De Blasio endorsed all of that stuff.
Well, thank you. That was the other thing that happened. I felt like De Blasio had already endorsed him. So I don't know why this week it was like a big surprise.
Another bite at the apple.
But and I'll quote Curtis, Mondami would be De Blasio on steroids.
Yep.
But just to go back to what I was saying, I will want to kind of drive the point home. I feel like we're being brainwashed.
Yes.
As we know, it was supposed to be Kamala. Mm-hmm. As we know, with against Trump, it was supposed to be Hillary. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been wrong plenty of times. Yeah. It's got to be free elections. I mean, that is a knife in the democratic process.
Yep. I think that, if anything, well, first of all, if somebody's going to get out, they got to get out soon because I think we're beyond the point of, and it sounds like perfunctory here, but we might be beyond the point of being able to pull somebody off the ballot, the actual printed ballot.
Well, Curtis has said that. Curtis said we're still going to be on the ballot.
Which that in and of itself is a big problem because you have such an apathetic electorate who don't pay attention and they're just going to the ones who do show up.
Right.
The voter apathy in this city, like other major cities, is just rampant. Nobody shows up to vote. So so many of the ones that do just show up like lemmings. And so that's a problem. Even if one of them or two of them were to get out, there are still going to be trickles of votes that are going to be lost to that.
Right.
But also, the Post ran a piece, I think it might have been yesterday, the day before. It might have been Thursday or Wednesday. I forget. But there was this piece where it showed who's on Team Mamdani, who his brain trust is. Mm-hmm. They are a bunch of Gen Z and Gen Y, they're all like him. Mm-hmm. They have, actually, they have a bit more expertise at what they do. He's got really good social media people. He's got a pretty good speechwriter. Again, a kid. They're all kids, but they're all a bunch of young punks. They're all a bunch of punks who all look like trust fund kids and who are just these awful socialist, and I can't imagine that they're as ideological as him. I don't know, but looking at this rogues gallery of punks just drove me nuts. I was like, holy God, we cannot hand over this massive city to this bunch.
Okay, and those are the people that are running his campaign. Who would he put in charge of education, in charge of finance? He's so against everything that this city has been built upon.
Right.
And the thing is, the young people, the under 30, under 35, whatever the category or categories are, but what's even scarier is when people that are 55 are saying that they'll vote for him.
Yep.
It's like, what?
Jewish people. I know this is Sid. This is a bee in Sid's bonnet. Drives him batty.
I can't get over it. Why would you do that?
How does a Jew vote for an anti-Semite? Not even a veiled one. An outward, unabashed anti-Semite. Just, oh my God. Even the Brits kicked out their anti-Semites out of the Labour Party.
He went to the, it's just awful. I can't wrap my head around it. He went to the West Indian Day Parade, which was on Labor Day. Right, traditionally. And traditionally always ends up in the same way.
Yes, a bloodbath. Yeah.
They had the most police presence. It was, it was just ridiculous. I talked about this actually on my podcast, how it's always like that. And I feel bad for the people, the good people that go, that love it. It's their culture. I love the Greek Independence Day Parade. I march in it every year. We all go, the tri-state area, buses come in. And by the way, do you know how hard it is to plan a parade in this city? Oh. You need permits. It's crazy.
The logistics are insane.
And then it always ends up the same way with people getting shot, and it's just disgusting. And again, something else I'll never understand.
Right.
But anyway, my point was that Mondami was there.
Right.
Cuomo was there because he showed up.
Right.
And, but anyway, Mondami was there. There were a lot of people rallying around him.
Sure.
And he did it like a little dance, right?
God.
So I saw the post I scroll through, because I'm scrolling through the comments because I want to see what people say. And some people say, "Oh my God, we can't get, we can't have this guy, blah blah blah." Yeah. But I'm more interested in looking to the people that support him.
I love this guy.
They were like, "Oh, he could dance. Oh, finally a mayor that could dance." That's your criteria? Is that how low the bar has gotten? Yeah. It's just, it makes no sense. Even if you are a trust fund kid, how do you think that money got to you? Somebody was in a business that made money.
That made money. Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It came from someplace.
It's, I'm starting to get a bit more like dour about all, I really think that, very often, more often than the old saying allows for about judging a book, I think at least 7 times out of 10 we're right when you judge a book. I mean, by its cover. And I just really think that a huge portion of the electorate, and I'm building this up like it's some sort of revelation, is just stupid and disconnected. And when you vote only, and I mean, saying that, in a choice, a binary choice, I'm going to go for the Republican. Yeah. But you know what? I have written in before. I have written in names of other Republicans. I have voted in elections and not voted for the Republican on the ballot. I've done that. And I just can, to me, it's stupidity. In this case, because, all right, you want to be ideologically aligned with this lunatic socialist. If you believe in free buses, it's the rest of it. It's what you mentioned earlier. The guy has never had a job. The guy has never led people. The guy and something Curtis is wont to say, and people I know who served with him in the assembly, he hasn't been present for votes. He has
passed nothing.
He has passed zero as an assemblyman. And a supermajority, this guy has not passed a bill. So that's where it becomes also stupidity. You're voting for an idiot. You're voting for a guy who has zero credibility as an elected official, and you want to hand over the reins, the keys, to the largest, most important city on the planet. Now you're just stupid for doing that. Again, you want to vote for socialism and freeze the rent and all that stuff. I get that. But where do you draw the line? I mean, how can you be okay with this anti-Semitism? That's what gets me about these people, and they're all over the country.
I was just about to say, this is contrived, everybody. It's not conspiracy theory. It's just what's happening.
Yes.
And they start with the cities. Yep. And with all this underground money coming from all over the place.
The Soroses, I believe all that. I believe all that.
Oh, totally. Right. Yeah. And more.
Sure.
Soros just happens to be like the brand, but there's more. And they're in Chicago and in LA and obviously they go to the blue states first because those are the easiest bait.
Yeah.
And then it trickles up from there, I think about AOC and how she got in because I felt like, and I pay attention, and like all of a sudden it was like, who is this person? Yeah. And the next thing you know, she was making a ton of noise. The media loved her.
Right.
And she's in, and now we can't get her out.
Yep.
You see that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's up for a re-election every 2 years, and she wins.
Locked in.
And it's insane.
Yep. That's why I don't think she's ever going to go. I don't think she's going to go for Schumer's seat. I don't think she's going to go for, I think she's just stay right there and be.
It depends how ambitious she is.
Right. All right, gang. So listen, we're going to get back to our conversation with Ellen Karis in just 1 second. It is 3:26. Time for a quick break. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick on 77 WABC. We shall return in just one moment.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormick.
side money too,
Yeah.
So
how about Omar?
So, and who was the one? Rashida Tlaib. Did you hear her the other day?
Jeez,
it's a disgrace. This is America.
Disgusting.
Who talks like this?
Yeah, I don't like when Republicans do it, and there's a few Republicans that are doing it too, and they're out there and they're just sort of throwing some curses. Even one guy who's like a buddy of mine, and I just go, ooh, don't do that.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I get it, but don't do that. I mean, even in small gatherings, I'm like, ugh. Cause it's just whatever. It's just, I don't know. But no, they are just disgusting on the other side now. It's gross.
I mean, it's just like we're the worst place in the planet. Like we mistreat people you mistreat people.
Yep.
You're the one that wants to suppress people. You're the one that doesn't want to have a free society and give people opportunities.
Yeah.
With your taxing and your lawlessness and all of it.
Oh, and speaking of Tlaib, was it, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I got to find the article while we're talking, but I could have sworn I just saw something where, was it the Detroit or the Dearborn police or something like that, where there's that large Arab community was doing a police patch, a badge that was in Arabic and American. I get that that's a big portion of your, but on an official badge, on an official badge, a foreign, I can't. And they just do these things.
Right.
Gretchen Whitmer would be very smart to step in on that. If that's actually happened, I'm pretty damn sure it is. That would be a move for her,
But
she's beholden.
She's totally to the left.
Yeah.
They're all, and then you've got, talk about Gretchen Whitmer, like all these governors, like Gavin Newsom. Oh. Gavin Newsom is not a dumb man.
No.
At all.
No.
It's like, dude, why is it always a fight with you? You're always looking for a fight. You can't admit when things are wrong. And the thing is, you've got the resources to fix it.
Totally.
And you don't want to fix it.
Nope. No.
And all these policies, just, going back to Mandami, well, they all feel the same way. Like with the drug, drugs should be fine.
Right.
We should have shooting up park.
Yeah.
Sure. While, your 2-year-olds in a stroller, you should be so certainly going by and, and being in that kind of an atmosphere. That's
right.
When I went to the park, that's exactly what was happening. I mean, come on.
I needed needles
right.
and all that.
And then the whole thing with prostitution and making that legal. And it's like, okay, so what happened to protecting women's rights? Because there's so much underage prostitution and there's so much sex trafficking. That's all part of it.
All part of it.
So if you say you're for women, you're lying. You're anti-woman.
Absolutely. Yeah, from
you're anti-woman.
From trans in sports.
As is the crime.
Right?
Because a lot of women are victims of crime.
Absolutely. Disproportionately, sure.
You're not protecting them.
Nope.
So they're all, they're liars.
No.
Just such liars.
And I had a guest on the show last week. And by the way, the show is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick here on 77 WABC. We're talking to Ellen Karis, regular friend on the show and other shows here on 77 WABC. And, I had somebody on last week who was talking about, legalizing prostitution and how, look at the Nevada model. And I'm like, no, hold on a minute. I said, Mamdani's not talking about like a big public health plan towards like regulating a sex industry like the brothel business in Nevada. He's talking about decriminalizing what's going on.
Correct.
Which decriminalizing what's going on means a lineup of dirty men coming and abusing a young trafficked Hispanic or Asian girl on a dirty mattress in Jackson Heights. Decriminalizing that, that's disgusting. And that is what Mamdani has no problem with doing. And the women that support him, it is how many, I cannot articulate.
Isn't it wild that we're even talking about this?
We're talking about the marginalizing, the victimization of women to further the political ambitions of Democrats. I'm tired of even saying leftists and so Democrats are lining up to endorse decriminalizing human trafficking. Democrats. This is a Democrat thing. And you know what? And I've stopped mincing words on social media with like friends of mine, all my friends who are back in Los Angeles when I was from living there, who just will continue to they'll do it again. They'll vote for another Karen Bass. Mm-hmm. They'll vote to burn down their neighborhoods again. It's just, I don't know.
I feel like until you are the victim, until they are the victim, right, they're not going to get it.
Or the city has to go down. I'm sorry if we already talked about this one time. Mm-hmm. We might have, but that's another thing. Part of me, and you might have, I forget, I don't know, or maybe neither of us, I don't know. But I think there is something, the silver lining, if you can find a somewhat of a potential, it's not even an upside to all this, but maybe it all has to come down. Maybe New York has to literally be on the brink for people to like just cry uncle and get it. And for some, because that's gonna happen.
Right. But the thing, I understand what you're saying, except that 2025 is different than a 1975. People are much more apt to get up and leave.
It's a hell of a point.
And because New York is where you also came for work.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily have to work here anymore.
I keep forgetting there was an industry here. I keep forgetting there were blue collar jobs around, you know.
And a lot of finance jobs and a lot of banking jobs. I mean, the jobs now that have expanded in New York City are tech. But, you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think law firms to a certain degree, but not banking, not Wall Street. There is really no Wall Street-ish left.
It's what, Greenwich, right? It's about like the hedge funds and
there's hedge funds left,
and they're everywhere, and also they're also going to tax friendly places, right? I mean, isn't there a burgeoning financial industry in Miami?
Yeah, Miami, yeah, for sure. So it's just a different, a different dynamic.
But maybe that's what it's going to take. I mean, because if the logic doesn't work, if the logic about who we're talking about doesn't work, if this guy has been able to cut through the mire and be the nominee, then there's no accounting for any of that intellect that got him there and is now ready to make him the mayor. Maybe, that's why I'm saying, maybe it does take like, I don't want to say the downfall of New York, but like a lot closer than it's ever been. I mean, you make a hell of a point about 77, about the 70s. Yeah, now people just leave. People, right, that's interesting. But maybe that'd be part of the downfall too.
And the other thing is, just from a math perspective,
right,
all of these things that you are promising, free, right, the free subways, the free trains, like we mentioned, free childcare,
right,
for everybody,
totally
free childcare for everybody.
Right.
Wait, first of all,
right,
if you have two children.
Yes.
If you have a kid, it's your responsibility. It's not my responsibility. Nope. I don't need to go to work to pay for somebody else's, child care.
Right.
You have to find a way. Now, do I think the child care should be $60,000 a year? No, of course not. No, it should be, there should be some, I should be affordable.
Sure.
But it shouldn't be for free. We go from 0 to 100.
Yes.
It's just amazing. There's no middle ground or fair ground at all. But everything that he's promising, if your tax base leaves, where are you going to get the money? What, tourism?
Right.
If this place is unsafe, tourists aren't coming. Again, I feel like the numbers have been fudged, but yes, we've had tourists here this summer. I've seen it, but I don't think it's as much as they've been touting at all. Nope. I know Canada held back, a lot this summer. We usually generally have a lot of Canadians.
Sure.
So,
a lot of Europeans would normally be here.
Right. Look, I'm so pro New York, but there are other places that people can go. This isn't the only place.
Yeah.
So even if you buy what he's talking about, how is he going to pay for it? What, from the police budget? There's no,
well, actually, yeah.
There's
the police budget.
The police budget and what? This guy has said out loud that he hates billionaires.
Yeah.
Which
He's a billionaire. It comes from a millionaire family.
He hates billionaires. He hates capitalism. Look what AOC did and some of those other lefties over on the other side of the river, with Amazon.
Right.
All those jobs.
Right. Gone.
And
right. Never got a chance.
And tax money.
Yep. Didn't even have a chance.
And they totally squashed it.
I know.
Now, I don't like to, defend him, but was Cuomo for the Amazon thing? Was he pushing? I feel like he was for it.
I think
not that this is an endorsement. I'm just saying,
no, of course not. No. But look, that sounds like something he would see the value.
Yeah,
in. Absolutely.
And
I really do think he was.
And just to get on him, I love when people go, he did so much. Okay. He got LaGuardia Airport. Well, first of all, it does look better, but it's not finished.
Right.
But everything that these people go, you did with our money.
Right.
It's our money. We are paying for all of this.
Yep.
That makes me nuts.
Yeah.
Just the way that people have been brainwashed as if it's coming out of the pocket of the, of the politician.
Something that was generated.
But what is coming out of our pocket as well is the legal fees for Andrew Cuomo. Is everybody aware of that?
These settlements.
That we are paying. He just settled two for $500,000, $500,000. It was $250 each.
Oh, is it $250
it was $250.
Okay,
it was $500,000, and it's coming out of taxpayer money.
And that doesn't even cover the legal expenses for the legal eagles, for the white shoe lawyers that are defending or putting these cases to bed.
Right. And I think this came from my husband, so I'll just quote the source. But he said that in this latest budget, Kathy Hochul pushed something in where if you are a public servant, your legal fees, if you get sued, your legal fees will be covered.
Yes.
I.e. Letitia James.
Yes.
If this whole thing goes down
totally
with the mortgage,
her.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
and potentially herself and her husband.
We're paying for this. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
People, wake up.
And again, that's because we've got a supermajority up in Albany that there are zero checks and balances in Albany. There is no accountability in Albany because, and forget from the voters, because they keep putting these supermajority. It's a veto-proof supermajority in the Assembly and the state Senate. There is not even an independent-minded Democrat to look after the other Democrats. There is absolutely nobody watching anybody. Everything passes. All the craziness, all of these energy hikes, all of these rate hikes for energy, that's all passed. That's all approved by the Public Service Commission. The Public Service Commission is made up of commissioners that are appointed by the governor and approved by the legislature. So when you see anybody out there, when you see your local assembly person or senator in New York who stands up at any kind of public hearing with a sign that says anything about Con Ed and rate hikes, that's theater. They think you're dumb, because if that's a Democrat standing up and saying they're against these rate hikes and calling for Con Ed, understand something. They have been approving everything Kathy Hochul has done for her green new energy, right on through the approval process of the Public Service Commission. Any Democrat who is pretending to be offended by these rate hikes has played a major role in bringing about these rate hikes. It's as simple as that. And these dummies, these dopey Democrats are going to keep doing it because they don't listen. They are literally a bunch of dopes. They're dopes. There might be one or two intellectual people that you and I know, and maybe you at home, you got some friends who are Democrats and they're smart. But it stops at their politics, because this is just a bunch of, and I know plenty of Republicans that I would never elect again. I've worked for some true gems in my life. I don't love them all because they've got an R after their name. But like I said, I've written in. I don't know how many Democrats have ever done that.
Right. I think I have one friend, comic friend, who I love. And we've talked politics a lot. We became very close in the last couple of years. And she's definitely, she's seen the light, you know, and she respects my opinion, especially when I talk economics, since I have the CPA background. And so we're in a car recently, and we were talking and about all, what's been going on. She hates Mandami, obviously. She's Jewish. She's very concerned, the whole thing. And she goes, and I'm a Democrat. And I go, this isn't her name, Sharon. No, Sharon.
Right.
You're not.
Right.
Because you agree with pretty much 90% of, and it's almost like because that was her identity and that, so I think, so some people are still kind of walking around saying that that's what they are, not realizing that it's not that Democratic Party anymore. No. It's not that one from 25 years ago.
Nope. And for a lot of cultural groups, ethnic groups, there is an identity to being, one of the most fascinating things I ever heard in a great documentary about the Jewish journey in America. I think that was actually the title of the documentary. The Jewish journey. I'm fascinated by the Jewish journey in America. I really am, especially the show business aspect of it. And well, I heard many people quoted in this thing, and they would say, to be Jewish was to be, and to be, and to be a Democrat, and I didn't take umbrage with that. I actually found that to be quite charming. I found that to be quite interesting, and also considering the time frame of it, Lower East Side and tenements and sweatshops and all that. That I get, and the social justice aspect of Democrat, but none of this is social justice. None of this is getting ahead. This is insanity. This is
suppression.
It's suppression. Yeah. It's and watch what it does to freedom of speech. I mean, this is genuine. And he's right again. Trump is right. This is communist. This is a communist. This socialist has has a Robin Hood ring to it. Mm-hmm. This is communism. Right. This is Stalin. This is Lenin. This is Marxism. This is communism. And on that happy note, but anyway, so listen. So we got to wrap because it's Wednesday now. So everybody can go to Greek Chick Comic where you're funny everywhere. I love your walk and talks. Yeah. I love how you get out there and you're walking somewhere on the east side. And you're just this side of sweating because, well, you're in great shape. So I think it takes a lot for you to sweat, but you're just out there and you're talking. And everybody's got to go and find your videos and see you on Instagram and Twitter. You're so funny and so real.
Thank you. I hope I'm representing, you know what I mean? Like, I hope everybody feels the way that I do, that when you are working out at in a class that women shouldn't be wearing 14 bracelets and 22 necklaces.
Right.
It's wrong, right, people? It's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Do you encounter that?
Yes. I'm just stunned at the women. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's just the Upper East Side, but that wear all this jewelry to work out.
Yeah. It's a whole different kind of keeping up with right? I mean, because because it used to be just like, okay, first of all, I remember when people worked out in sweats. Mm-hmm. I remember that. And then, and as the years eventually, we got ourselves, fast forward.
The Lululemon. Yes.
And now it's Fabletics. And now it's Gymshark. Mm-hmm. And it's more keeping up. And my house is full of all this stuff between my wife and my daughter.
You have girls. Yeah. And girls like stuff.
Clearly.
Yes.
So, I know.
Yeah, you have a lot of, and we like a lot of the same.
Yep.
Right.
Yes, there's a lot of repetition.
There is.
Yes, there's a lot of repetition.
Right.
My daughters each have 7 pairs of Nike, whatchamacallit, what are they? The Nike something, and it's on the waistband. The something shorts, they're booty shorts, they're the black workout shorts.
Right.
But you gotta have 9 of them?
Yes.
And
you're convulsing right now.
Yes, the sports bras, and I mean, there's untold numbers of leggings.
Yes.
Yes,
we need everything in a different color.
Yes. And multiples in different colors. And now it's maroon. There's maroon everywhere. there's maroon bra tops and jog, whatever you call it. It used to be called a bounce bra. Then it was called the jogging bra. Then it was sports bra. But there's all of them, and there's the shorts and the leggings look so hot. I was going to say so hot. In some cases, they're incredibly hot. But always temperature-wise, I don't know how women wear those in the summertime. It's like a layer. It's like a double layer of heat. And I could not have been more right. And Ellen agrees with me on all of that. It is 3:50 here on 77 WABC. Had a great time talking to Ellen. We will take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll wrap up this hour. And then when we come back from that, we're going to come back. Okay. Gotcha. We're going to take a break. We're going to roll into the next hour. Yeah. And we will, absolutely, have a good time. In the, 4:00 hour, by the way. We're going to talk a little bit of recovery for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit of boozing. We're going to talk a little bit of not boozing. And that number, 1-800-848-9222, covers all of that. We're going to talk recovery hour. And also, the RFK has come out. I really want to talk about this too, by the way. RFK's talking about a link. He promises now to expose a link between Tylenol and autism. This story apparently has been out there for a little bit. Nobody touched it. And now it's about to come to fruition. And it's going to make massive news. Could there actually be a connection between a mainstream drug and autism? And we're not talking about vaccinations. It's always been about vaccinations, right? They're all been accusing him of being anti-vax. Well, it looks like it could be something like Tylenol. I don't know. That's what they're saying it might be. Also, later today, $1.7 billion, $1.7 billion. I gotta buy. Interesting though, I've heard experts saying that the smart way is to do the random picks. And then I read an article in another paper that said, don't do the random picks because the random picks tend to duplicate. And that's why people end up sharing. So I don't know if you guys have a particular formula to win the Powerball. But it's up to something like $1.4, $1.7 billion later tonight. So we'll all be doing that. And then I'll be here to celebrate my winnings with you, Sunday morning. And I will tithe. I will give 10% to Jesus. And also, the New York Times, it sort of slipped out there on Friday. The New York Times exposed this top secret mission that didn't go so well for a Navy SEAL team back in 2019, during the first Trump administration, where some North Korean civilians were killed. But once again, there's the New York Times dealing with unnamed sources familiar with the mission and exposing something that may or may not have happened and blasting it out there to, of course, try to impede on the good works of Donald Trump. I don't know. That one just sort of came from out of nowhere, halfway through the day on Friday. That one was weird. Anyway, so we've got a few things to talk about in 4:00. And again, anything that you want to discuss. We were talking earlier about crushes from back in the day. We're talking about all-time, men and women in show business who were just all over your wall. Posters all over your mind. I've named the Lander sisters and Adrienne Barbeau, and then I threw out a young Shirley MacLaine. And we got some calls, and one of them was Connie Selica. One of the fellas mentioned Connie Selica, found her quite captivating, he said. The blue eyes and the straight dark hair. These days I'm a sucker for the brunettes. Here I am naming the Lander sisters blondes. But then there's Adrienne Barbeau. I think the Adrienne Barbeau effect has impacted the rest of my life. I've been a brunette guy forever and ever. 1-800-848-9222. Where are you? And how about the ladies? Where's the ladies on this? If my wife was awake, if the bombshell was awake, I guarantee you she'd be calling up about, I mentioned already, Lenny Kravitz. Oh, and now, since we saw Oasis, my wife is a late bloomer to Liam Gallagher. I don't know if this rings a bell with anybody in this audience about Oasis and the Gallagher brothers. But after we went to the concert, my wife is all about this bad boy thing. If she's into bad boys, she's going to have to go look, and she might as well go settle down with Liam, because while I might kick and stomp when people don't load the dishwasher right, that's when I'm a bad boy. How sad is that? Look, she's the one who kicked me out to get me sober. We'll talk. Yeah. It's almost recovery hour. Not that we talk about it for the whole hour, but I mean, you can, but it's not the whole time. But that's me. That's bad boy. That's when I kick butt and take names, is when you load the dishwasher wrong. What did I go off on this week? This week, something wasn't right in the house. And, okay, this is who my wife is married to. I am so sorry. This is me in my bad boy era. I got all ticked off the other day because I couldn't find a dish towel. This is so sad, but you got to drop a dime on yourself every now and then and acknowledge who the Lord made you to be. Couldn't find a dish towel. I got wet hands and a wet, frying pan in the kitchen. And I'm ticked off because there's no towel to dry. And I'm dripping water on the kitchen floor, which annoys me as well. Because I have feet that can sense anything. If I'm barefoot, I can tell if I'm standing on an eyelash. I'll feel the eyelash and go, what is that under my feet? And I get annoyed. So anyway, what did I get annoyed about? The fact that in the upstairs linen closet, we were stacking dish towels with hand towels, like proper towels, like for the bathroom. And I had to walk around the house making a pronouncement to my beautiful wife and my spectacular daughters, saying, holding dish towels. I'm holding dish towels in my hands, with kitchen towels. I'm holding dish towels in my hands saying, and I'm dead serious. What a jerk. I'm dead serious. I'm standing there as serious as anything saying, gang, girls, when we do laundry, if there's dish towels, can we not put them in the linen closet with our, towels? Can we not separate kitchen towels? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. This is how I treat the woman who saved my life. And my daughters, who are the gift of my sobriety. Separate the dish. She should leave me. She should leave me and never look back, and take the girls with, and go settle down with Lenny, and Millie and Trixie Kravitz will enjoy the rest of their lives. 77 WABC, it's Another Side of Midnight with me, the annoying TJ McCormick, also known as Felix Unger.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick, 77 WABC.